That's where I had my first.
Oh, okay.
Was that Finding Dory?
Girl, I had mine at Coco. Hi everyone, it's V. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Ask V That, a space where I can talk about all taboo topics affecting trans women of color and queer youth today. Thank you so much for the support so far and giving me the chance to even create this space for queer youth. And make sure to go find the show on all streaming platforms and give me a rate and review. It really helps keep this safe space that we have for queer people of color like myself. Today's topic is going to be growing up trans in public school. I decided to bring my friend Kendall because we both have a very similar upbringing, but everybody, Kendall!
Hi, everyone.
So just like tell me a little about yourself. What do you do online? What's everything that you
I mean, I guess to start out, I'm like a small towner from Illinois. Moved out to LA, and now I do social media. Of course, talk a lot about our trans experience and everything that we go through and things, But I also do, a little spicy site on the side, to keep the funds rolling.
Yes.
But yeah, that's like my main thing is just like talking about our struggles and help educating people and getting our word out there.
I love that. What is like the main thing you came out to LA for?
I came out here first for makeup. Like, I really wanted to be a makeup artist.
Really?
But then I realized, like, I wanted to be the one that they were doing the makeup on. Oh, my God. So, so I quit that idea. And I was like, I want to be the one in the chair.
Yeah. That's why you're always asking me to do my makeup.
Yeah, but I do love still, like, doing my friends' makeup and, getting into that. It's fun.
I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about how we met. Basically, I believe it was on a forbidden app.
It was on House Party.
House Party.
That's what we were all on back then. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, like that's how we all got together. We chit-chatted. We had our big old group of... It was pretty much just T-girls. Like, we all just, like, it was me, you, Zaya, Jade.
Yeah.
All of us.
Have you always been friends with, like, a lot of queer people in your life? Or is that,
actually, no.
Right when you started to become friends with a lot of trans girls?
When I moved out to LA is when I started getting more of, like, a queer friend group. In Illinois, I mean, I grew up in, like, the most, like, conservative town ever.
Right.
Like, there was no diversity in any group you could think of. It was very white, cis, male, boring, just very, very Trumpy. And it was just not a safe space for me. So, like, that's why I graduated a semester early, because I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, just a horrible place to be.
So did you start your social media when you were in high school?
I kind of did. I mean, there was always a little part of me that, like, wanted to post videos. But, like, obviously, like, when you're in school, there's, like, that pressure of, like, everyone like, everyone at your school being, like, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. So, like, there was a lot of times where I would post stuff and then I would delete it. Mm-hmm. And so there's just, like, a lot of that. So I would say my junior or senior year was when I started to take it more seriously and, like, take the people at my school less seriously. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, okay, like, this is what I'm into. Like, this is what I'm going to be posting. And, like, I started going, like, a little viral on, like, Snapchat, which was, like, the randomest thing ever.
Weird, yeah.
But that's, like, the first thing that, like, ever, like, popped off for me.
I love that. Yeah. Is that the Snapchat that you do not have today?
Yes. If anyone would like to get it back for me,
Thank
text
you.
me.
We don't want to pay $2K to get a snap back.
Yes, no. Yeah. I wish I had it back. Oh,
I love it.
Snap.
No, and I honestly think that's the reason we bond so much, because we both are out at such a young age. Yeah. So you understand me, I understand you, and a lot of the other trans girls in our groups came out later in life. So we just have way different experiences that we can relate to.
Yeah. Definitely high school is like a crazy thing to experience as a trans person, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Our experiences are wild, because not only like the way we were treated, but like even like events and stuff were like so much more stressful for us.
Yeah, it almost felt like there was like a pressure to be the best.
Yes, to show up and show out or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That actually gets us into today's topic, growing up trans in public school. Why is this important to you?
I mean, important to me. I don't. It's definitely something that I experience. I think that the big thing that was missing when I was in school was just like a lot of kids were not educated on what it was.
Exactly.
So it was just like a lot of guessing game on like what people thought about me, and like they just really just didn't understand. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to that.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's important for me because I just feel like, I don't know. Were you one of the kids that were out, like one of the only out kids in your school?
Oh, I was the first trans person.
She was the sickening
one.
I
mean, there were other kids, but they were not. I mean, I'm not like whatever. They weren't transitioning. Like there were kids that were, being different, but no one had fully came out, changed their name, and had like everyone had to like switch over.
Right.
And that was kind of something I did. Like I had to have, all my like teachers, and I actually didn't have teachers because I came out the last day of 8th grade year. So it was like summer, and then freshman year, it was like the first time anyone had saw me as a girl.
Yeah, exactly. And like with that experience, it's so new to everybody, not only with yourself, but just the environment around you, the teachers, the staff. And I think there's lack of how to support trans kids when sometimes school can be the only safe space, even if like, being at home isn't a safe space for them.
Yeah.
And like right now there's a lot of laws going around with trans people getting outed by their teachers to their parents if that's how they choose to identify in school. So I just think it's really important to talk about now just for that reason, because I don't know, once we share our experiences, I feel people can actually have some human emotion to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important, especially with kids in schools, and like young trans kids are being attacked so much politically right now, and like by all those, different bills and stuff. And so it's like if school is their one safe space, it's like what are you going to do then? Like when they're literally getting attacked not only by the kids at their school, but by the freaking government.
Absolutely.
Like they have no safe space. They have no place to go. And if they don't have their parents, it's like it's just a scary place to be in nowadays. And I feel like we're really blessed to have like family that loves us and supports us, which is something that is really important, especially for kids, is like to have a supportive family.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree, because I mean, I just had my mom in the last episode, and even just the way somebody going mama bear for you can change your whole life, because you go back home, and even if you're getting bullied, you have that, arms to go into. But how was the coming out experience for you? What was like the determining factor for you? How was your mom reacting to it? How did the people at school react to it?
Well, it's actually funny story because I didn't have like the most normal coming out. I kind of like, I had been hiding in my room, playing with my sister's makeup, playing with stole my sister's extensions, and would dress up fully as a girl at night. Would hide in my room, 12 years old.
Gosh! Oh my gosh, that's so fun though.
when I was like 13 and a half, that's when my mom would catch me every once in a while.
Yeah.
She wouldn't catch me like fully, but she would be like, do you have mascara under your eyes? Like, is there something around your... Like, she would be able to tell, and I'd be like, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you are confused, Mom. I don't know what you're talking about. And then one day, she just, like, had found some stuff on my computer, me looking some stuff up. And she was like, do you feel this way? And she was the one who came to me, and I was like,
gosh.
I broke down crying. I was like, Mom, this is the tea. I've been dressing up like this for 3 years in my room. And she was like, that's okay. And she took me to Walgreens. We got like $300 worth of makeup. It was the best day of my life. Was so excited. And then like that week we went to Kohl's, got new clothes.
Right.
And then like I think a month later, last day of 8th grade year, I posted on my little Instagram. I was like, I'm trans. Woo! And it was my little pixie cut with my little mascara on.
Oh my gosh. You're like, this is the real me.
This is the real me. Yes. I felt very pixie vibe.
What does your mom's upbringing look like? To have sort of like a supporting mom like that is really odd in
where I'm from, yes.
In Illinois, yes. Right? So it's like
nowhere.
Right, a very Republican state. So
like
how is your mom like
2,000 people.
Oh my god.
Imagine being from a town where there's like 2,000 people, one gas station, one restaurant.
Girl.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think we came from like a very supportive family. I like, especially my dad's side. Obviously, I don't have my father in my life since I came out. But like, I think my mom just was so smart and she loved education. She's a teacher. So she was, she went to Chicago for some of her like things after college and stuff. And I think that just helped open her mind a lot more. She kind of always, I think, had more of an open mind.
Right.
But I think that definitely helped her. And like, leaving my father was probably a great decision too. I don't know where she would be politically if they were still together.
Yeah.
But I think that she has her own mind, so I think she would still be amazing.
Period. So that kind of gets us into how were the people at school. But we'll get into that in a little later. I want to know what kind of student you were. Were you like a scholar? Did you care about school?
Okay, the thing is I'm really smart. You even said this, that you thought like, I'm really smart, but I hide it. I act a little dumb sometimes.
It's called the bimbification. You got to act like a bimbo so, people...
So people don't think too much and like expect too much sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you just want to be chill. Like you don't want to be too like brainiac.
Yeah, I remember, or it was like... Because I always thought of you as this girl who's just like, let's go party. A little like cuckoo in the head.
A little empty. A little hollow in the brain.
But I lived for it and I didn't care because like I loved you for every part of you.
Yeah.
But as soon as I moved to Los Angeles, it was more so when we started going to dinner and stuff. I was like... You were telling me just about how you're feeling politically with the world right now. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like... You actually care about this.
Yeah, like this bitch has brains. Okay.
I was like, oh wait, Kendall, there's a noggin. So
I like wasn't on honor roll or anything.
Okay.
But I did take like honors classes. I took dual credit classes my senior year. I was able to graduate early. Like I did well. I wasn't a straight A student, but I did well enough that I got into the best classes, and I did good enough.
Okay, cool. Okay. So what were your...
Did you do any sports in high school?
Me?
Yeah.
I did one sport.
What did you do?
Basketball.
She was a
I was trying. I only made one hoop that season.
I did basketball when I was in middle school, but once I was like Kendall, I did soccer. I really wanted to be a cheerleader, but cheerleading was so intimidating. I don't know if you wanted to be a cheerleader, but were you not
I tried
terrified?
out for 3 years in a row and
you didn't get it
at all. I would say like I was a little out of shape. And I had some curves to back it up, and that's not what they were looking for. They were looking for very much white bread. Let's have everybody look exactly the same.
Twig bitch. Oh my.
And if they were a person of color, they were very white coated. Let's say that. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm somebody who's very whitewashed myself, but yeah, let's just say I did try. But tell me a little bit about your sports.
I loved soccer. I played soccer.
Yeah.
So sophomore year was the year that I got on varsity soccer, and that was my like exciting year.
Okay.
And I followed in my sister's footsteps. I always loved soccer, but soccer is really fun. And it was also just a great way to make friends. That's how I kind of made my friends my junior year.
Okay.
And I actually didn't. I don't know about you with friends in high school or after you came out, I guess. Because we came out a little bit different. But like when you came out, did your friends stay around you or did you have to make new friends? Like how did that go? Because for me, it was a rough patch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have, before I get into it, did you have some of your friends, were they friends with you before you transitioned? Or did you make those friends afterwards?
it was kind of weird. I kind of dated some of them, and then like my junior year, we became best friends.
Right, because you said you've dated girls before, right?
Yes, in middle school, I was the trade of the playground. Like
the trade of the century, the one.
I was pulling everyone.
Oh my god!
I mean, I don't know if those girls understood how flamboyant I was, but I think back then they liked me because I could. I don't know.
Anyway, for me, I did not have friends at all during like the before stages of me coming out. It was more so when I started to show myself like authentically to my classmates was when I made friends easily. When I came out. So, but no. I came out in 3rd grade, but I know, a little, it's like, what?
So just 5 grades later, I came out.
Came out in 3rd grade, didn't really have friends. People were still comprehending what even I was.
They were like, what is that?
Yeah, because I came into school and I was just getting questions left and right. Like, the kids were brutal. I can't
imagine little kid like
girl,
being that.
You want to hear what some of them said?
What would they say?
I remember the first day of school, and I was walking in all high and mighty. I had my little justice outfit on. I was so excited, feeling like, oh my gosh. I sit down, and they're like, "So you're a girl now?" And I was like, I mean, I guess I've always been a girl. I just like haven't shown it to you guys yet. And they're like, I don't agree. I think you might be a girl boy. Or is it a boy girl?
It's a both.
But yeah, so basically they were just like questioning everything, putting labels to me. Like, you know, their parents were spewing a lot of unaccepting ideas in their head. So that's all they could really comprehend at the time.
It's crazy because when you see like I don't know, this is like a great example, like when you see little kids and you see them interact, and like there's like these videos online where it shows how they have no
filter.
Well, like they don't care about things that adults care about. And like these kids will fully interact and they don't care about their diversities and they're just fine. But it's what the parents put in their head at the end of the day. Like politically, all these kids are just printouts of their parents.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like it takes their decision to like kind of separate their own damn brain from their
Which
parents.
takes forever and then puts us through
never
trauma.
Happens.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's honestly because it's like when you're a little kid, that's the time you develop your morals, how you think about the world. But honestly, I think in that way, I changed a lot of people's minds and they grew with me over time.
Yeah, you probably did help a lot of kids understand. Like even especially like one thing that I've realized is like, I don't know if you have like people that hit you up from high school, but there's people that hit me up from high school that'll be like, I finally understand you now. Yeah. Like I finally respect you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like a little too late, but thanks.
Yeah. And sometimes those people, at least for me, were bullies. Like,
yeah. Oh, well.
Put me through shit. And I'm just like.
It's funny where I find my bullies.
Oh, for sure.
I find them on my spicy side. They're odd ones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they do that. It's such a switch up because it's almost like they're mean to you because they're attracted to you.
So to this day, you have people subscribe to you on your spicy site that are basically like we're into you in high school,
yes,
and are curious about trans people.
And if it's not that, they're hitting me in my DMs being like, hey, when are you gonna be back in Illinois? Oh my god, when can I take you out?
Yeah.
Or like,
because they feel like they can now.
Not to be specific, but there's one guy and he hits me up every couple weeks, and it's constantly just very like about my body, very just surface level, and it's just like you have to get that I'm at the point now. Like I'm 22, so I've been through some shit. I've dated around. I've done the hookup. I've done all that stuff, and it's just like you have to learn to respect me now. Like I'm not here to touch, and you can look, but don't touch. Like just
I'm personally not even like interested in like hookups at all. I feel like
I want a relationship, but I want it to come naturally, and I want it to not feel like I have to work so hard for it. Mm-hmm. I want it to feel just like it came into my life as like. But also it's like then I do sit there and like I don't know, I always wonder, I'm like, oh, when am I gonna be in a relationship? When am I gonna feel that love again? Because like that's just so sad.
And it's still like an ongoing struggle even after high school. But how was your dating life in high school? Like, did you date around? Were there people that kept you secrets?
I would say it's like non-existent.
Oh, really?
It's literally just like it didn't exist. Like I would say when I walked down the hallways, it was crazy how the boys literally wouldn't even make eye contact with me. They wouldn't even look at me, talk to me at school.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why I act surprised.
And then it would roll around to 10 o'clock and like maybe some of them would hit me up. But,
exactly.
But during the day and at school, they wouldn't talk to me. And my mom's a teacher. I mentioned that. And so they were kind of scared because like my mom works so closely with a lot of people who are on the school board, who work in the high school.
Was she in your school?
No, she was in the elementary school. But people were still worried because she obviously knew everyone in all the other schools. It's a very small town.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were scared that like if they messed with me that they would get in like a lot of trouble, which is true because I also did have like the vice principal had like a trans niece and like so he like understood what I was going through and like he was very supportive. Nice. So I had like a good support at my school and like I knew I was safe and like I knew that they would protect me. That's so a lot of kids were scared of me.
Okay.
A lot of kids were like, we're getting in trouble. We will get in trouble. But the thing is that didn't stop them from anytime they were off the school grounds. Like I think I've talked to you about what has happened to my car in school.
Reiterate for those who are watching online because
so for those who don't know, my car was the target most of the time. That is the way that
the eggs. Okay, sorry, go on.
This is the way kids would harass me in school. Kids would basically so one time we had like a soccer tournament and so I left my car at the school by the soccer fields obviously. And when we come back there's pills all over my car. And there's like trash all over my car and like just like they rubbed shit on my handles and stuff. When it got bad, this is when it got really bad was when I was at home. I wake up one morning, I go outside and I'm like, okay, what the is this? And there is soap all over my car with flour thrown all over it. That wasn't the worst part. There was a dead possum that they had sat on the front of my car, rubbed the blood all over my car. And at this point, you're 16 years old. I'm looking at this dead animal, blood all over my car. It feels like a threat. Yeah. Right? It feels like this me next. I'm going to be on the hood of the car.
Right.
You know, with my blood everywhere. It was scary. So that's when I had to get police involved and like it was just terrifying. And the one thing I regret and for the person who did that to my car, I said to the police officer, no, I don't want to get them in trouble. I signed a thing. I said, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I don't want to ruin their college experience. I should have ruined their college experience. I wish I would have pressed charges. I wish I would have them up because they never learned. They probably still are a big old bigot.
Right.
And probably don't care about anyone, have zero empathy.
Yeah. No, mine was actually the opposite. I mean, I had very supportive people, but it was only because they felt like they were obligated to. And my area was like mixed with Republican people and liberal leaning people. So they would just like whatever they thought was right, they were trying to do the best with. So I had supporting staff, but it was just like everything was a slap on the wrist, sort of like how you may have given them a slap on the wrist by not fully reporting them. Similarly to you, they were scared because they knew that they would get reported or they knew something would happen. But there was a point where they just stopped caring because it was a really easy slap on the wrist. They get expelled for a week and their parents have the same belief system, and where do you think they learn it from? So whenever they're getting banned from school, they're literally just like, well, you know, the school's wrong. And then the parents are just like feeling that idea that whatever they did was okay.
Or they're probably like, oh, the school is just doing this so that she doesn't get mad. So that, you know, because it's like, are you just doing this to appease everyone just to like clean it over? Because imagine if they didn't get in trouble, you would have a problem with that. And I know you would say something. And so would like me or my mom, we would have had a bitch fit, you know?
Right. Yeah. Did you have friends that stood up for you? Because you said that your friends were a little iffy with you being trans.
there was times where I felt like my friends did step in. Like, I don't want them to get mad at me. Do I think that they were the best? No. Do I think they, like... So a lot of times what would happen was boys would invite, you know, my group of girlfriends to go and do something. But they would say, you can't bring Kendall. You know? And instead of standing up for me and being like, oh, well, we're not going to go, it would be a lot of times just like, I'm going to go. I want to go and like have fun. And me being like young and like, I don't want people to miss out on fun just because I'm the weird one, you know? And so I was like, you know, obviously I never gave them shit for it, but did it hurt? Like, yeah. Like, obviously being left out and being like feeling even more ostracized from like the group definitely like sucked. But I think that there were people that were there who sometimes stood up. And I think that there were people that stood up for me a lot more that I should have been nicer to, that I think that in my mind back then I thought, you know, that they weren't my friends. Right. And I think that there are definitely people that I should have been more friendly to. Probably. Yeah, they were there for me more than the people that I thought were my friends.
Yeah, I
think I wanted to fit into the popular group.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to say. I felt like I wanted to be popular so bad.
That I would let them shit on me just to be popular.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people do that, trans or not. You know, they just like put all of their self-respect aside and then like, you know what? If this makes me have notoriety within my community, well, then I'm going to do that.
And it sucks now because looking back, it's like, I don't give a about any of those people and what they think about me.
Absolutely. No,
I could care less. And the sad thing is, why did I limit myself to such I probably could have had a happier, you know, high school experience if I would have opened myself up to more people.
Absolutely.
You know?
Same with me. I felt like the same kids I grew up with in elementary school who I like came out to in that third grade time, who I eventually developed friends with like in like fourth grade and fifth grade, and that became my lifelong high school friends. It was really hard for them to continuously stand up for me because originally they're like, oh my gosh, I love this girl, she's so cool, like she's so outwardly herself, like it inspires me to be myself as well, and she makes me feel good because she's just a feel good person. And then as we got older and they're honestly worried about themselves as well as trying to protect me, it became like, oh, let me protect myself before I protect another trans person.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't blame them for that. I just wish that I could have saw that, you know, I was wasting my time with some of the people I was surrounding myself with.
Yeah. And they were hurting you. Like, they were hurting us more than they were helping us.
Exactly.
You know? They held us back from making, like, really good friendships. Because there's probably people that I could have become friends with in high school that I probably would still be friends to this day. Because a lot of the people that I was friends in high school with, I've lived in LA for 4 years. And I can tell you how many people have visited me. Zero of my high school friends have ever came to visit me here.
Yeah.
And that is sad. That means that none of them really cared, you know? And the amount of times I've asked them and even offered to pay for flights. They have a free place to stay. And it's just like, did you really even care about me in high school? You don't even care to come visit me now?
Yeah.
And even like when I go back to visit, it just like shows me really how they are, because they don't care to see me then either. Yeah. And it's like, y'all weren't even really my friends, huh? No. Because I'm not a townie anymore.
Yeah.
I think people become, but a lot of people are they're just stuck in that downtown.
Yeah. I think people become, in a sense, jealous to those who go for their ambitions. And, you know, when you come out to Los Angeles and you are doing the full nines, I mean, I was even doing that in high school simultaneously, like my whole social media gig. I think I had like half the followers I had now on my senior year.
Yeah, you were going hard.
I was, in a way, using that to kind of escape from my friends that weren't giving me like the full time of day. Like, you would be there for me, but like not when it was extremely hard or when you needed to be.
Yeah.
But that kind of got me into expressing myself online, and all the struggles I talk about online honestly are we're just talking shit about the friends that I was with at the time, which, I think it was a learning experience for them. But,
Do you think they ever knew?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, they would just see that shit and be like,
do you still talk to your high school friends now?
No, not really. I only talked to one. And she was the only one who I had been friends with consistently since I was like, before I transitioned. Macy, yes. Yeah. So yeah, she actually visited Kendall's place before, and goes to college in California. So we've been able to catch up and stuff. Macy was really the only one who continuously stood up for me till the very end. I remember there was just like a lot of issues with kids bullying me, especially online. And whenever I needed a friend to be there with me in the office to speak up with me, and they would listen more to her because she is just a cis white woman who can relate heart to heart with all the staff. I think she was able to convey my message, and help me gain more acceptance towards just people who didn't really deserve me.
She used her white privilege in a good way, I guess.
Absolutely. Thank God, babe.
she conjoined us together and got us, I'm glad that she was able to help you. That's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Was there at least one friend that you had that was like that, or do you feel like it's just like fully like shun them all?
It was me. If I was connecting with a staff member, or doing something for myself, it was usually me or my mom. I would not. I don't know. I don't want to like hurt any of my high school friends' feelings because they were very much there for me at that time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. As much as I like dog on them, I mean, I try not to, but like at the same time, it's like, girl, this is like morals at the end of the day. You don't need to uninvite me from something if I'm just simply existing as myself.
Yeah, I forgive them. I
don't forgive all of them. But,
I realize sometimes I do realize like they were there for me as much as they could for like a 15-year-old who's going through the same shit I was. Trying to find your like place in life, trying to figure out who you are, what you want to do, who you want to be. It is a very complicated part of life, so I understand not making the best social decisions.
You're still learning and you're still making mistakes. And I think that's a reason why it's so hard to be trans at such a young age, because people are learning around you. People are putting ideologies into your brain, and you kind of have to, in the moment, unlearn that as you're learning it.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's tough. I definitely would not go through high school again. You could not put me through that shit again, no matter what. As much as I do miss kind of how simple life was, like getting up and having a place to go every day of the week and like having organized stuff is kind of fun. Like low key, I do miss like having a very organized lifestyle. Yeah. And like having that, that community.
I totally agree.
It's something that is lacking in a lot of adult spaces. Like our neighborhoods are so big, we have to get on freeways to go visit each other. Yeah. Like it's not like we have like the same coffee shop we go to every day or the same people we see every day. So it's not the same environment anymore. And I kind of do miss that. I kind of miss seeing, the same faces every morning. And,
feeling a sense of home.
Yes, the sense of community. It is
which you have to build for yourself now as an adult. Yeah. Which is kind of hard, especially for people who are just moving out to random places that are nowhere, shape or form, anywhere near close. That was such a long
especially when you're in your like early 20s and you're like your late teens, I guess. Yeah. When you're like figuring out that part of your life, you go through a lot of friends. Like you'll go through friends from now on, but like you haven't found like your forever friends yet, and you'll go through friends, and it's just like, when am I going to find my little community of people that will stick around and will always be there? And you have to be ready for people to hurt you because, like, everyone's human. Yep. Nobody's perfect. So that is another thing, like, I had to learn right out of high school is, like, I'm still going to get hurt by people. But, you have to learn to let go and love and forgive people. And, like, that was something that was hard to learn.
I honestly feel like I wouldn't have it any other way either, because it makes me the person I am. It makes me have the thick skin I do. It makes me able to handle the pressure of being a little micro influencer. Just like on the day-to-day getting hate and people just making a spectacle of my whole identity. It's really hard to deal with that, but I feel like the bullying prepared me for it.
But don't you like also like it also gives you like a bigger sense of empathy. Like I feel like I'm able to understand other people's pain a lot more, especially like emotional or like, you know, that kind of stuff. It makes it where I can connect with people, I feel like, better, because I really do. I understand pain a lot more. And I feel like we've went through some things that a lot of people don't experience.
Yeah. At a young age, which people usually experience later in life.
Yeah.
Which I think is the reason why trans people are the most empathetic people.
And we mature. I feel like we mature very
such
quickly.
A young age, because you have to understand how to forget and
yeah, because imagine being like if I was 16 again, I can't imagine being so mature that I would tell the police officer to not, you know, like arrest them. Like, like that is very mature to say. I don't want them to up their whole life based on a decision they made at 16. Like that's very mature decision.
Yeah, you're like, I just got hate crime, but I'm still gonna give you a grace.
Yeah, like what? Now as an adult, I'm like, put them in prison.
So you said you had teachers that were very supportive of you. What are some of the actions they did that made you feel affirmed as a trans kid at the time and made you feel very supported? And what do you wish other trans kids could learn from that and get from that in the education system?
Well, I think so. For me, my experience was, I feel like, pretty normal. I feel like a lot of kids have like that one teacher they go to. For me, it was like my French teacher. She was like the most accepting and like the most open person in our school. Yeah. Like she was the person I would go and like eat lunch there, because I didn't have anywhere to eat lunch, you know? So I would eat lunch in her room, or like after school to study or work on stuff, I would go to her room. Yeah. Or like if I was waiting for soccer practice, like it was her room, you know? And she was just always there, super accepting. I was able to have conversations with her that I felt like, you know, super comfortable with, talking to her about things that I was going through. And like, it's insane. I actually really wish like I could talk to her and have lunch with her today. I that's like one of my dreams, because she's just like, literally, if she understood the impact she had on like my experience as a high school student, she like, it would make me cry. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but like she was just literally the sweetest person ever.
Love it.
So did you have like a teacher that like made you feel like you had like a safe space like that or something?
Yeah, it was mainly from my Black Student Union Club, which I became like the president, vice president of, with
the queen.
Yep, you know, because I loved it so much, but it was just such an accepting space where I got to not only talk about like my trans issues, but my intersectional issues that I had as an identity who is also Black and Latina. So it's like, yeah, I just got to express myself so outwardly. And though she was like this little white woman who
but she loved you so much.
She did. She understood us. And she like had this church she went to, talked about our club to the church all the time. Like, it was just so sweet. Like, she was just so wholesome. And, you know, I just felt like there was only good intention in her heart. And whenever we were talking about issues, she was just always like weary if she would overstep. And I'm like, girl, if somebody's gonna overstep, it's gonna be you. I would not care. I want to like make mistakes together and learn from each other. But we did, you know, and that was honestly the best for me. And I think it was the best for a lot of the other Black students there, just because there was like only 30 Black kids at my school. And it was just really hard to be proud of my identity. And
did you grow up like in the city?
No, I grew up in like
you grew up in Seattle, right?
Yeah, I grew up in
but was it like a small town?
Outskirts of Seattle. So like, I wouldn't say how far out, but it's a little far out. And just because of that, there was no diversity there. So I really was some of the only diversity, and when I was coming out was the only trans
Did you ever
kid.
like did you ever ask your mom to like move? Because that was a big thing for me after I came out. And like I was like struggling at school. I was like, Mom, can we just move somewhere where no one knows?
Yeah.
I can just like have a normal childhood. And like there were so many times where we had thought about it. Like I really wanted to move. Like we were a couple hours south of Chicago, so like I wanted to move up to Chicago. I was like, I think it'll be more accepting. Like I think that I'll be able to go to a school where there's other trans kids, maybe even possibly. Like I could find like more of a community because there wasn't even like a gay kid at my school.
Yeah, we thought about it. I was gonna go to like the main city of Seattle, but the education system was just so elite. Like it had just everything I needed, and I have
where you were at already.
Yes, personally, I have like a disorder where I just learn. If any kids are familiar out there, I had a 504 plan. It was basically like you just get things that help you learn because you learn slower than other people.
Do you have ADHD?
No, it's called auditory learning. I don't know what it's called, and I deny it of my identity a lot because I don't want to accept it.
It's not a part of her identity.
I try to ignore it
just fine.
as much as I try to learn. But it honestly stops me from a lot of things, like just easily being presentable to people. Like even doing this podcast, it's been very hard for me. I had to refilm like a couple episodes just because, girl, I couldn't even read off the teleprompter. So, it affects me in my daily life. And we could not give that up, my education, just because there were some people that were naysaying me. Like at the end of the day, we just had to get over it because
that was one thing. I went to private. I don't think I told you I went to private school till sixth grade.
That gives a lot of context to everything.
Okay, well, I went there till sixth grade, and I like loved it. And private school is obviously better. The classes are smaller. You get more one-on-one. Like
that's what I needed.
You're able to learn things a lot better. But the thing is like my sixth grade year, and I will call this bitch out. This teacher, dead ass, like kept making fun of me. I was very flamboyant. I wore these like colorful, like tight Abercrombie colorful jeans. I had like all the matching little Abercrombie sweatpant suits, and I wore my hair in this like quiff, like the very like douchey, like gelled up, like tall hair.
Yeah.
I had that with the buzz sides, and I just like I thought I was Justin Bieber. And
Shadi went through it.
And this teacher would bully me, would make fun of my hair, would make fun of my outfit.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not going to say anything mean about her, but she was an ugly duckling, so
Girl.
she shouldn't have been saying much. She was so mean, and she made me cry one day, and I called my mom. I said, pick me up. And the next week, I quit the school.
Damn.
We stopped paying tuition. I said, I'm not going.
Yeah, because why am I paying for this?
Because why are you doing this to me? And like, my mom had a big issue. It was... Yeah.
How was like the ending of high school? So I know, how was like homecoming for you? How was prom for you? Were you really into it? What was your priorities? Were you really...
You were prom queen, right?
I was homecoming queen.
Okay.
We didn't have a prom queen for some odd reason. But
we didn't have any of that. They took that away because it was a popularity contest. I'm like, yeah.
Duh.
Duh, that's what it's been. Y'all knew that centuries ago. Like, I don't know why y'all acting like this is like a brand new idea. Y'all know it's a popularity contest. It's a you're queen and a queen, a queen and a king. Like
of the school,
of course.
That's
like
so like royal.
And it just was so woke that I couldn't stand it. I was like, I want to be a queen. I want to be a queen.
What about me?
Anyway, so they ended that like the year before, I think. I went to homecoming and prom both junior and senior year.
Okay. So how was like the groups, and did you have a date?
I didn't even have a group.
Oh my god.
I went with my grandmother and my mom every year.
Oh my god.
I didn't never have a group, and I never had a date.
Oh my god. Wow.
Poor little Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, did you enjoy it with them though? Was it like a traumatizing experience for you, or did you like...
I mean, I was still able to have fun, and like luckily I did have friends that would dance with me. It was just like that same situation where basically like because the boys didn't want me there, they wouldn't invite me.
Right. So did you ever try to at least get in those groups, and did you
The thing is there's only like what? So my hometown is like 2,000 people. The town I grew up in is 20,000 people. We have like a very few restaurant options. So when I tell you I would pull up with my grandma and my mom, and I'd be sitting at a table, and I see 4 of the prom groups right there in front of me.
Right.
I saw my friends. I could see them.
Those aren't friends.
And it was like the saddest thing ever to sit there and like, it wasn't fun.
No.
You know? But am I glad I have the photos, and like I'm glad I didn't just skip it just because I didn't have people to go with. I am really glad that I still went.
Good.
Because like my dresses were still the cutest. I was the hottest.
The hottest and the one.
But maybe the most delusional.
But we all have to live in delusion, you know, just to
If
get
you don't live in
life.
delusion, then it's too real and it's too scary and sad.
Yeah. I was so focused on my group, and I remember like there would just be like a couple of people who would be like, you can be in our group, because they just look up to me as like somebody who was like out and proud. And there was other queer people later in life in high school. So for me, like,
I mean, senior year you were like famous, so like people were for sure like eating your ass.
I mean, I was basically, no, actually.
They didn't start eating your ass when you started getting famous?
They were jealous, and they were just like, well, also they just didn't like what I was getting attention online for, which was trans activism. Like, it wasn't cool to them.
They were like, ew.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like everything that they hated. They wanted to appreciate the girls who did like thirst traps, you know, like that's what was cool. So even in my school, like I was still ostracized for being unapologetic online. So they didn't give a you know, so and when I wanted to be in their group, literally their only ulterior motive was just me having a following, me maybe getting able to have some discount for a photographer for their photos, me, you know, giving some attention to their group. Did I take that though? Yes, I did. I said, you know what? I want to be popular. I want to be sickening the one. So I'm going to.
So she was sickening the one. The exception.
But I ended up for homecoming. I mean, I guess I could give a little short blippet of this, but ended up running. No, you get nominated. So basically, I got nominated in the polls. I got basically to all the way to winning.
So a lot of people like you.
Yes. There was like a consensus of like, oh, I'm really proud of her, but I wouldn't stand up for her.
If someone starts beating the shit out of her, I'm just gonna watch.
There was a lot of people who would like go to the office for me and stick up for me,
good.
Which was good.
I had people like that, like a few.
Yeah, but
rare.
It was hard to ignore the hate as much as love I was getting. Just because they were so loud. Like I remember right after I won homecoming queen, afterwards people were taking pictures immediately on Snapchat and being like, she has a dick, why is she even in the queen category?
I remember when you showed us those, I was gagged.
I was literally on FaceTime with you showing it in real time of all these people. I had about like 20 screenshots of just different people from all different angles of this assembly where we had to do a little dance in front of the whole school of people just calling me a man. And it's just like,
the little dances were everything though. I'm sorry, Beyonce's classmates.
I gave him a show for sure.
Some of y'all ate, some of y'all were spooky.
What the thing was was how the people handled it afterwards. The kids did get punished, but again, it was just a week suspension with their parents not giving a freak. And so
their parents were like, okay,
you're like, oh, you're probably doing better for, you know.
What even comes with a suspension?
You're just gone.
But you don't get to do the things that are like assigned that week, do you? Right?
You do. You just do it all at home. And at the time, we were just getting over quarantine, so a lot of the people would just continue to do their quarantine work. So it wasn't really even like a. So
it wasn't shit. They literally got a reward.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a reward. If I get to stay home and I still get to complete all my homework, they should be penalized like.
They needed
with
to put them in some,
or
like,
something.
Yeah, they needed to put them.
I thought, I don't know if this is right, but I thought in high school, I don't know why I remember this, but I thought when you get like suspended that it penalizes your homework. I thought like you can't take tests or something, or like there's like something. I don't know if that's right.
They would never.
I thought I remembered something like that where it was like you get penalized for your work missing. You don't, obviously they don't get to like not let you do your work.
Yeah.
But you get penalized. Your
Right.
grades get like affected.
No, they wouldn't do that because they were so worried about the representation of their school. Of like
They were like, we can't have the GPA drop.
Yeah, we can't have the
because all these
GPA.
transphobic kids.
Exactly. So yeah, so they would just basically get told like you can't do that, but would never get like a lesson on why that was wrong, you know? So they never really learned, and if anything, it might just make them build more resentment towards other trans people that are in their towns or
like,
in their villages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so
these kids like messed with my high school experience.
yeah.
Ugh.
And I remember after the whole homecoming thing happened, it was like looking really bad for the school. A lot of people on the news wanted to like interview me about it, and for some reason I chose to not really diss the school and just kind of, you know, fully put them out there for their bullshit. I kind of was just like, well, actually, I know why. And it was that I wanted to be celebratory of the moment of winning homecoming queen. And I didn't want to let all the negativity like rule this whole situation.
Yeah, because that was your moment.
Exactly.
That's a big deal.
I just remember though, like when we were done, we were all going to get breakfast. And as soon as I got in the car, like I just cried because everybody was telling me like, and why would you come up to somebody who just won homecoming queen and was like, Fee, somebody just called you a man. Look at this like Snapchat photo. And I'm just like, great. Thank you for showing me that. Thanks for the congratulations.
I know, some people don't realize that like it's better off not knowing.
Yeah, sometimes things are better off unsaid, but you know, the school they gave a shit statement. They basically were like, we don't stand for anybody who goes against minorities in our school. And I'm like, no, call it out for how it is. Somebody was being transphobic to me. Y'all don't stand up for transphobia, not racism, not whatever. Like, girl, it's transphobia. It has nothing to do with race. I mean, maybe it was, you know, a little microaggressive and people had some racial stereotypes.
It could have been like another reason for
yeah, with a deeper meaning. But the root reason is that they were being transphobic.
Yeah.
They weren't calling me slurs that were having to do anything with race. It was transphobia. So call it out as it is.
Well, at least you got a statement. I remember when I graduated.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because I feel like when you were graduating, I remember seeing this on TikTok and it's one of your most popular videos.
It is, yeah.
Tell your story.
It's my most viral video. It has like a bajillion million views. Basically, the day I graduated, and I've actually never told this in like a deep story time, so this is kind of tea. The day I graduated, I flew back actually from LA because I had already moved here in December. Okay. And I graduated like that May. So I graduated a semester early. And so I had flown back for my senior prom like a couple months before. Mm-hmm. Stunted, looked beautiful. Then came back a couple months later for graduation because I was obviously getting my graduation pic. I was obviously doing my cap and gown, my whole moment. Mm-hmm. And I was walking across walk across the stage, and they say my name. They say my name perfectly, just how it is, because it's legally changed. They literally can't say anything else. But I hear from the crowd my dead name. And it was like kind of, I was walking super fast. So if you see the video, you can see I'm walking super fast. I'm so anxious. I'm in front of this whole crowd of people who hates me, who wants nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. Granted, also at prom, I posted like some very interesting Snapchats saying that I was the most sickening. And then I was like, I had the prettiest dress and like all these things.
Oh, you bitches are butt ugly.
No, I did, and it was a video of me walking in the like cafeteria where they had the homecoming. Like, prom.
Okay.
Anyway, so people like extra hated me. So I thought I heard that, and so I obviously turned around and I flipped the whole school off. Wow. And not everyone saw it, thank God. But when I walked off the stage, I started crying because I'm obviously just like so upset. Mm-hmm. And then people are telling me that they didn't hear anything. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I heard that. Mm-hmm. But allegedly people say they didn't hear anything, but then that makes me just think, oh, you guys are just covering ass.
Yeah. You just want to make this a nice day.
Yeah,
know?
like you're just covering ass for your friend probably. Like you're fully just like acting like it didn't happen because of your friend or something. But I swear I heard it. I wouldn't have reacted like that if I didn't.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to flip off the whole school, honestly, and I wanted to do it for attention, I would have done it when I took the diploma. The thing is I did it when I was like almost off the stage.
Right.
Because I heard it like very last moment. I was like, I was over it.
I'm glad you did your instant reaction because honestly, people deserve that. People need to stand up for trans people in uncomfortable situations because that's how actual change happens.
Yeah, and my family was so upset. My family was like, "You planned on doing that?" Because I said before I went out there to like walk across the stage and like to line up, I was like, now make sure you guys watch me really closely. And I didn't. I wanted to do something crazy low key, but I didn't.
As everybody does.
I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah.
But I said that being like, ha ha ha. And then something ended up happening, obviously.
Well,
so they thought I had it planned.
Yeah.
And I really didn't. I really didn't plan on flipping off the crowd. And what was posted on Facebook, they started a Facebook hate group, actually. And I wonder if it's still up. But it was like a full Facebook like hate page talking about me, how I was disrespecting the military that was there. I was like, bitch, who cares about the military?
Right.
It's my graduation. It's not Memorial Day.
No.
It's my graduation.
Right.
It's about me finishing this like high school shit.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
They were so delulu. Delulu the house.
I'm proud of you though. And I'm so glad you stood up for yourself because not a lot of people can. Like some people would just like, let me leave and
I want to leave. I want to leave. No, that was definitely me right after.
Yeah. But in health class, I know there was not, for at least me, trans people at all in sex ed. Do you think that trans and gay people should be included in that? And like, in what way? Because it's like they're obviously not teaching you about how to have sex, but they're teaching you like the basics, And I honestly learned nothing about my body when being in it. So how do you feel about it?
Sex ed for my school was like the quickest, shortest, like little class that we had in PE, where it was like literally like 3 days, I think. And they took us into a classroom and basically said the bare minimum of what we needed to know was basically don't have sex, wear condoms. And like I think they touched on like HIV and like gay sex probably for like 5 minutes of like that whole time.
Yeah.
Like it was such a short part that like even the kids that didn't even know they were gay or know anything about what they want for sex, they couldn't even be prepared for it because they don't understand. Like they're truly just like they skim over it so much because I think that schools are just scared.
They feel uncomfortable.
It is an uncomfortable topic, and it should be something I honestly think that parents should be teaching their kids. It shouldn't have to be a school class, but there's obviously a lot of parents that are lacking in many places, so
I totally agree.
It's like the place for the school to step in.
Yeah. And I think like, at least for me, I was in the women's sex ed. And when I was just learning
So you had separate?
Yes, they separated.
We didn't.
We ended up having a combined one later in like middle school, but in elementary school we had it separate, and they were just like teaching us about our bodies, like what a period is, and like,
we're like, what is that?
Exactly. But yeah, I think I learned more about like biological woman's anatomy than I did my own, and like I'm a woman, but I just don't have the original biological woman anatomy. So, it's like at what point, where do I learn about myself? And where do I learn how to even go about like having sex with other people? Because it's like, I had to learn all of that after high school. I think I learned that mostly from the trans friends that I had, and like stuff in the media, and that's mainly like just over sexualized trans people because people only think of us as like a Pornhub category.
So
let's get into today's game. I do this with everybody. It's called The Good, Bad, and the Fabulous. We're going to hear one topic. She's going to blurt out a word, or I'm going to blurt out a word. And you're going to say one good, bad, and fabulous thing you feel about said topic. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Musically.
I have to say something good, bad.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah. Will you just show me what you mean?
Yeah. So a good about Musically for me would be I learned how to do all like my social media. So that really like prepared me for just the online experience and how to kind of maneuver how I want to present myself to the world. Bad, I think that, you know, there is such thing as digital footprint, and I did not need to freaking have some of the things I had out at that young age. Like, there was just too much information online about me. I was definitely an oversharer in the last, like, 3 years for sure. But it helps people, but, like, some things are better left unsaid. But a fabulous would be that it gave me the career I have today, you know?
Mm-hmm. I would say good thing was, well, back then I really loved laughing at my friends because it was really cringy.
That's so true.
And I thought it was probably the ugliest thing you could possibly do in middle school. And I mean, I'm glad that there's only a couple of those out there of me. I think there's like 2. Thank God, because those were really cringy days. I would say that's the bad thing is how cringy Musically is.
Right.
It wasn't like TikTok where it was educational. And fabulous, I think that word does not involve Musically at all. So I don't think I can give you one of those.
The way I continued Musically until it was like not popular
like
anymore.
Dying.
It was dying. And my people at school would be like, do you see this bitch? Like, what is she doing? And I'll be like, you know what? You just are judging me because I am confident and you're not. And it was literally so cringy. But you know what? I'm glad I stuck to my guns of being confident.
Yeah, because look where it got you, honey.
Honey. I mean, hey, I have a whole platform now, so it was worth it, honestly. Air Force Ones.
Good. They're comfy, they're easy, and they're, you know, a great shoe that I used to wear a ton. But I think the bad thing is that they're just too common and basic.
That part.
Very basic, very boring, and cheaply made. So they tear apart in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Fabulous. They go with everything. I can wear them with a dress. I can wear them with a jean.
Yes.
I can wear them with anything.
Yeah, I agree. A good would be... they just go with everything, which I really like because they have like the Air Force Ones that are like the cool colors that are expensive on StockX.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a really big trend and I really enjoyed that. I still have them to this day. Bad. I don't know. I don't know if there's a bad. I guess another good would be like they look good dingy. But
you like them when they look like crust?
Yeah, I feel like it gives them some little personality.
That's when I throw them in the trash. I like when they're crispy and clean and no crease. Yeah.
Okay, then a bad would be for me that is when they are crispy. I don't like them crispy.
She don't like them crispy.
And a fabulous.
She likes to jump in a puddle first, get them a little muddy and soppy wet.
Would be I feel like fabulous is that they're just cute. I don't know. Basic. The next topic is going to the movies.
Good is the fact that they have great snacks.
Oh, true.
Love a snack in a movie.
Yeah.
I love a little joint in a movie.
Period.
Love to, go to a movie, a little blaze. So it's like just very much, immersed in the world. A 4D. Wow.
That sounds like a crazy experience.
So that is like a good. Bad, what I would say is, I don't know. I hate sitting in a place for a really long period of time. I have really bad ADHD.
Yeah.
I love a good pause of the movie, go do something else. So that's why I love watching a movie at home. Also, if we get distracted and start chit-chatting and arguing or talking about something or looking at TikToks, we need to be able to pause it. That would be nice. And fabulous would be that it's a good date idea. I think that I love a good, fabulous movie date.
Okay. Well, good would be, I just love like the experience of like getting together and like celebrating something that is a project that people have been working on for a long time. For like example, The Little Mermaid. Like we've been waiting for this for like 4 years.
Yes.
So it just feels so like a great collective all together community thing with around the world that we're just like waiting for this and waiting to support it.
It's crazy that it took 20 years for them to make a live action.
I know.
20 years? Like,
literally.
20 something years, actually.
When she was literally just a story about turning into sea foam at the end. Bad would be, I actually don't like them for dates. I feel like it's awful because...
Really?
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like...
That's where I had my first.
Oh, okay.
Was that Finding Dory?
Girl, I had mine at Coco. Ain't that awful?
No, with the dead people, with the little bones, where they go to the like dead people's side. Oh my god!
Why did we do that at kid movies?
Maybe we were kids.
Okay. Anyways, so bad would be just that you cannot like a date. Like I'm a physical person and I want to be able to like not be rigid and in chairs together. Like we just have to sit there in silence. Like I want to enjoy you.
Snuggle.
Yeah,
she loves a snuggle. She always tries to snuggle.
She's not a physical touch person, so you know it's not the greatest experience or bond we have on that level. But
yeah, I hate being touched. There's so when I'm like at the points where you try to touch me, I just don't want to be touched. Like after we get home from somewhere, after being somewhere for a really long time, or like from a party or an event, I'm just like I want to relax and not be touched.
Right. But I swear it's the other way around when you want to be physical, you know? So I'm like, hey, I'm like, get off me, bitch. Like,
yes, it is.
It's never like we're at
the same time.
Exactly. Fabulous would be that I just love the experience and I have a lot of good childhood memories with it. All right, well, that'll wrap it up for today. But thank you so much for tuning in to this fabulous episode of Don't Ask Me That. And thank you so much, Kendall, for not having me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
I loved having you here, B. You're such a great guest.
Anyways, do you have any socials that you want to plug? Any projects you want to show? Just the platform is here, baby. So let me know.
Yeah. So I mean, you can find me on every platform at Kendall Raindrop. And then if you want to find my spicy website, just look up like Olivia, and you'll find it.
Love it.
Near my name.
We're here for it. And then mine would be VEONDREMITCHELL.
Okay, spelling B.
And then Beyondre would be my TikTok. Beyondre M would be my Snapchat for that exclusive. Okay.
Okay. Spicy.
No, not spicy. Not what you're looking for. I'm guessing what you're looking for.
Just behind the scenes.
Just behind the scenes. But yeah, that would be about it. I mean, really, this podcast is what I've been wanting to promote the most. So I'm happy you're here, and I'm happy you're here as well.
Thank God.
Make sure to come back next week for episode 5, and don't forget to follow, rate, and review Don't Ask Me That wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel for the full video and episodes. We'll see you next week. I love you so much, dollies. Bye.